Hey guys, this is Chad Joyce with Palm Real Estate, and welcome to another edition of Foreclosure Friday. And like with every edition of Foreclosure Friday, we're always looking at bank-owned properties or corporate-owned properties or government-owned properties. And this is no different. Today we're actually looking at a Fannie Mae property. It's at 915 Cresthaven Drive in Cedar Hill. Now, this property is in a gated community. It's a 55 plus community. You may wonder if that's actually legal, and that is legal here in Texas, provided that the community meets certain restrictions. Now, I'll give you a little bit of information here on the property before we actually go over to look at and tell you about those restrictions. But it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath home. It's got a living area, dining area, plenty of open space. It has a study, and it's got a nice backyard. The HOA on this one, let me see if I can find it here real quick. The HOA is $236 a month. That will include front and backyard maintenance, tree trimming, bushes. I even believe it includes cable TV, internet, and some utilities as well. So you want to check on that, but it also includes the fact that this is a gated community, so you have some maintenance and upkeep there as well. Right now, this home is currently listed for $320,000. So we'll when we go back and look in the office, we'll check the comps, see if it's a good deal or not. We're not going to analyze whether this is a good deal for rental properties because it is a 55 plus community and you cannot do rentals in here. Now, for those of you who may be wondering if it is legal to have a community like this, it is perfectly legal. In Texas, 55 plus communities are also known as adaptive adult communities. They have specific age and occupancy requirements that they must abide by in order to be a community like this. Now, the most general, the one that really have to follow is called the 80-20 rule, which means 80% of the residents in the community have to be 55 or older. Now, they allow wiggle room for 20% that are not 55 or older, and that's typically for spouses who don't meet that requirement or adult children or things like that. It's not to allow children. So if you are under the age of 18, you cannot be a full-time resident here, which may disqualify some people from actually being eligible to purchase a home here. So, there is a school district here in Cedar Hill, I see, but it doesn't really matter because, like I said, kids aren't typically allowed in here. I have heard of waivers being granted, but I don't know if that's the case for, would be allowed in this community. It'd be a case-by-case basis. But this is a bit of a unique property. And that's one reason why we're going to walk through it and have a look at it. It's a nice community. I'm excited to show it to you. Let's go on in. Let's see what we find in there. And then afterwards, we'll check the comps and see if this is a good deal or not. All right, here we are. Let me take sunglasses off, put them down here. And coming in right off the left side here, like I said, this house does have an office, and this is it. A little small office, but if you want to have a place to work, this would be it for you. Now, we're going to notice a couple of things in this house that are not probably going to be typical. For instance, right here, we have wider than average doors. That is, so people, in case there's a wheelchair or anything like that, they can get into the property or get throughout the property. You're also going to see you have, this is a laminate wood type of flooring. You're going to see that throughout, including the bedrooms, which is right over there, so that people can get around easier. We do have a bathroom here. This is the secondary bathroom. And, basic, nothing too fancy. Most of these properties are only going to have 2 bedrooms, mainly because, there's typically not children or adult children living with them. They're going to be, the bedrooms are going to be used for 1 bedroom for the family, and then another bedroom is typically used for something else. Nice, good room size. You got the double pane windows over here, and got a ceiling fan with the light fixture attached to it. And like I said, you can see over here, down here, they had a cable outlet. So they were using this room for probably maybe another media room or something like that. I don't know if I told you guys how big this house was. Let's see. Yeah, it's 1,726 square feet. So this is a good size home. And we'll get a nice little pan because this is also common for 55 plus communities. You're going to have very open areas like this. Here's your main living area with the dining area and breakfast area. You have lots of built-ins, crown molding. You got recessed lighting up on the ceiling with, this house has 3 ceiling fans, which is nice. And I am thankful that Fannie Mae has kept the utilities on. HUD doesn't do that. So it's hot out and it's nice and cool and 75 in here. So the AC system's working. Got a nice kitchen island here, stainless steel appliances, granite countertops. You got a double sink. And, you got some extra cabinetry you can see over there in the breakfast area. And, here in the kitchen, looking on back that way. Let's walk out here. Looks like I didn't get the door shut all the way. Oh, this is nice. I like these doors that are kind of have the smoky faux finish. And I don't know if it's coming through, but this one says pantry. It's got a little design on it. Laundry room, washer dryer connections. This part of the house, this is ceramic tile. You can see it's in the kitchen. So, it's in good shape. I'm not seeing any damages. And here's an extra, storage space. You got another, if you want to put a freezer in here or something like that, you can do that. Again, 55 plus community, so you have a little ramp for the wheelchairs to get in and access the home from the garage. Our electrical panels over there. Looks like we have another outlet, so maybe they had an electrical car. See right here. So if your vehicle does take one of those outlets, you have that. A little bit more shelving and a little bit of a minor workbench. We do have a hot water heater. And for those of you who do sometimes wonder on how you can figure out the age of the hot water heater, you can see the serial number right here. Okay, so what you would want to do, this is a Rheem hot water heater. You can just go to ChatGPT, type in that serial number and say, hey, I have a Rheem hot water heater with serial number, type it in. And you can say, how old is this? When was this unit manufactured? And they'll actually look it up and tell you, because that's how you can figure those out. So coming on back in, we got a nice breakfast area. And another dining area or just extra space. I mean, this is a big living area for someone. I mean, lots of space in here. Our primary suite is back here. You got the beveled ceilings, ceiling fan in here. And again, like we talked about, you got the laminate hardwood floors. You got the wide doors going into both the room and the bathroom. You'll see, on the bathtub, for instance, right here, you got the handlebars to help get in and out of the bathtub. Over here by the toilet, same thing. They should have some in, yeah, see, they got it here in the shower too. So you'll start seeing little amenities and features like that in a 55 plus community that you're not going to see in a normal community that we walk through. This house so far, I mean, this is a nice big closet. This house looks like there's really no damages or anything. I do like the shoe thing down at the bottom. I've always loved it. I think it's cool. But this house looks like it's ready for move-in. Um, I don't see any problems or any issues. This house is in great shape. It's walk-in level. We don't have any holes in sheetrock. We don't have anything missing. This is a move-in ready property. Let's see what we got here in the backyard. Looks like there's a little bit of an extended patio. We're on the corner of the neighborhood. That's why you have a brick wall here. And here's another thing that's typical for a 55 plus community. You're not going to have privacy fences. Some of them do, some of them do not. This one, you can see, obviously does not. That allows for the yard maintenance to come in and out and all that. Does give it a more open feel. You do have a nice patio here. This is unfortunately facing the wrong direction. This way, looking this way is west, so the sun's going to come straight down on you in the evening, which is a bit unfortunate. But like I've pointed out with other places, this is nice rectangular area. You can put put motorized screens in here if you wanted to sit out in the back patio and enjoy the afternoon or evening. Let's go back to the office. What we'll do there, we'll check out the comps, and we'll also talk a little bit about what constitutes a 55 plus community and what type of loan programs are available for those communities. All right, guys, we're back in the office here, and we're going to do two things here. We're going to go over the comps real quick. This is a 55 plus community, so it's a specialized property, and because of that, we're not going to have many comps available. You're going to want to stay inside the same community to do those comps and kind of see the value. So we're going to kind of go over that a little bit. And also on top of that, we're going to look at what constitutes a 55 plus community. Look at some of the restrictions, some of the rules with regards to that. Kind of point you in, if you're interested, point you in a direction where you can find some more information out about that. So first off, let's go ahead. Let's go on in here. And we're going to check our comps. And for you guys who have watched before, you know right now we're in the MLS. We're at the address. List price stands for the current list price. OLP stands for the original list price. So we've had a $5,000 reduction at some point in here. We are 1,726 square feet. We do have a 2-car garage. You can see right there. HOA dues $236 a month. These are just things pointed out again while we're going through that I pointed out in the tour. 2-bedroom, 2-bath. So, and then see it says adult community, yes. So that's where it lets you know that it's a 55 plus type community. Other interesting things to consider, we have looked at Fannie Mae properties in the past, and there is HomePath financing available for them. You can check out more information on that at homepath.com. That house has no repairs or anything like that, so it should qualify for any type of financing they have available. You would want to make sure you talk with your loan officer to make sure that they are aware it is a 55 plus community. Days on market here, it's been on the market for 50 days. Not unheard of, especially in this market time. So what I went ahead and did is I went ahead and I already pulled up the comps, and we'll go back to that screen if this can work on it, and I'll show you what I did. We and this is my MLS sheet. I've got this kind of set up to all of my my preferences and everything. So I looked up, we're going to look in Cedar Hill. We're going to look in the Cresthaven subdivision. The stars on the asterisks on each side are wild card characters. So I'm just looking for Cresthaven somewhere in the subdivision name. So got to be aware that may pull up different subdivisions, and we'll check that when we go through this. And we're looking at all the active properties and then pending properties in the last 3 months and closed properties. You can see right here. I'm going to circle that. And the last 0 to 180 days. So this will bring up everything that's either on the market, has been pending for less than 3 months, and that's sold in the last 6 months. And you can see down here at the bottom left, that should come up. Yep. We have 10 matches. So that should be enough for us to determine value. So let's go look at it. We'll click on the results, pull it up, and you can see right here, here's our house is number 2, and it's listed for $320,000. The neighbor, which is pretty much almost the same house. Now they say they have 3 beds. You can see right there. I don't know if they're counting that office as a bedroom or not. We're the only property being marketed as 2 bedrooms, and that may be an issue for the seller on this, because a lot of agents and a lot of buyers will set their minimum bedrooms to 3+, and that's kind of the default, honestly. So there may be potential buyers who are missing out on this property because it's correctly being marketed as a 2-bedroom versus a 3-bedroom. Let's look at the neighbor, kind of see what they look like. I'm gonna close it. Oops, get rid of that. Close that out. So here's the neighbor. Here's the pictures. There's some nice editing there. And there's the front door, virtually staged, and you can see this is similar to our layout. Over here, we had built-ins in our house. We had a bigger fireplace, so a little bit different. Same little breakfast area there, similar bedroom. Remember the entryway, that room right there in our house was the bathroom, and this was the study. So let's see if they are counting that as a study or a bedroom, or if they even give us a picture of it. Lots of pictures of the living room. I don't blame them. It's a nice living room. Here's the kitchen. Very similar layout to what we saw. There's the primary bedroom. And you can see there already is a little bit of a different layout of this bathroom. The toilet seat's right there. So slightly different layout that way. Oops. Yeah. I'm gonna have to speed back up. Sorry. One thing about this software, if you don't click straight on the arrow, it closes it down, which can be irritating. All right, so there's the bathroom. This is a smaller, there's your sink, and you can see right over here, you got your shower. Wonder if they'll give us another view of this. This is a much smaller bathroom, and they just have a shower here. So this bathroom is much smaller than the house that we looked at. Than the neighbor. Good sized closet. Okay, so now we're up to bedroom 2, and if you remember, the house we looked at, its closet was over on this wall versus right here. So slight difference there. Let's see what we got. Hopefully it'll give us. Yeah, so they do have a 3rd bedroom. So you see right here, this is where our office space is. Looks like they actually have, well, wait a second. I wonder if this is still, this may still be the primary bedroom, that bedroom we were looking at, just from a different angle. So I'm not sure if this is where the study is yet or not. Here's the 2nd bathroom. Okay, here's the study. You can see where we are. And yeah, they do have a closet here. So they do have 3 bedrooms. Going to be a little bit difficult or different for our house with only having 2 bedrooms. But that's a good, good listing comp. Obviously, being the next door neighbor does give a good value. And what you can see here, we only have 3 sales. May, July are our sale dates. We'll widen this a little bit so you can see that. And these are much bigger properties, selling at $359, $365, and $415. So I don't know if those are necessarily good comps. The actives are showing that these are priced, our price is pretty good, but I want to see if there is actually a comp of this size. So let's go back over here. We're going to look for the last year. and we do base everything on a 30-day month. So I'm looking for the last 360 days. So we picked up, we got 12 matches now. Yep, and here we go. This is what I'm looking for right here. So we had a 1,552 square foot home and a 1,737 square foot home. The 1552 sold for 300, 1737 sold for 325. So looking at this 1,737 square foot home, and it sold in January, right here, you can see. You can see that it's probably the most comparable property. Now, depending on how much value you put for a bedroom versus an office, and the fact that we've been in a declining market for 12 months here. In fact, I want to say actually with North Dallas, we hit our high probably 3 years ago, and we haven't really hit those numbers yet. So we've been in a declining market for a little while. So I would say right now, if you wanted to put an offer on this house, it's priced well, but I would offer 305. That's more than what was paid for the 1,552 square foot house. It takes into account that there's only a 2-bedroom home, and it takes into account that you're going to be buying a foreclosed property, which gives you less guarantees. You have a special warranty deed instead of a general warranty one. So you get some fewer guarantees for doing that. So that's kind of what I look at in terms of the comps. I think the house is priced great. I don't think you have to do any repairs. So looking good for that. Now let's talk about, real quick, I'll pull this up. Let's see if I can see it. Yep, you can see that. So my notes on 55 plus communities in Texas. For those of you who are aware of the Fair Housing Act, age is one of the protected sections of that house. Now, 55 plus communities are legal because of the Housing for Older Persons Act, which was passed in 1995 by President Bill Clinton. This allows for these communities to exist, and they exist under these requirements. Number one, at least 80%, I wish it wouldn't pop up. Anyways, you can see that. Number one, at least 80% of the units must be occupied by one person who is 55 years of age or older. So at least one person in that home has to be 55 or older at the date of purchase. Two, there must be intent on the part of the community to serve older adults that is demonstrated through its marketing, rules, and overall operations. So the marketing of the property, and excuse me, my husky just came home from a walk, so he's going to be barking here for a little bit. The intent of that community has to be for 55 plus adults, and it's got to be marketed that way. It can't be a secret. It's got to be open and out front about that. Communities are allowed to enforce age restrictions by requiring residents to provide proof of age, such as a driver's license or a birth certificate. They are allowed to verify that you are 55 plus. They can set their own, number four, they can set their own rules and regulations, including occupancy limits and guidelines for guests, which residents must adhere to. That means, they can each individual community can set their own rules as they see fit, that when you buy into the community, it's almost like HOA bylaws, you agree to those. Number five, there are exceptions for the 55 plus rule. They're allowed for spouses and adult children. It is rare for these communities to permit school-age children to live there full-time. That's why when we were walking through the property, I said, we are zoned for Cedar Hill ISD, but it's very unlikely that's going to factor in. Now, it has happened before, and you would have to get an exemption from your community. And where I've seen it happen is, let's say you're 55 plus, you're a grandparent, your children obviously have a child who's of school age, and something happens to the parents where they pass away, or they're legally incapacitated, or they're not available to take care of the children, and you're the only surviving relative and you have to take the child in. Those are the exemptions that they're looking at. It's not just, I want the child to live with me. Now, number six, while they will not typically allow school-age children, nearly all of the communities will allow people under the age minimum, such as grandchildren, to visit and stay on a limited basis. You would need to check with your community for the specific rules and guidelines. And also, depending on which state you're in, they would limit how long you could stay there, because once you hit and stay there for a certain amount of time, you're considered a resident, and each state's a little bit different in that. So that's what's going on with 55 plus communities. Um, they are great communities if that's what you're looking for. And like I said, this one's nice because you get the HOA that handles, and we'll go back over here. See, I'll pull it up for you. What the HOA handles, you can see right here. It handles the backyard maintenance, front yard maintenance, grounds management fees. Now, also, I think they also take care of some of the utilities and everything, but I would check on that before going on in. But that's one nice thing about these communities. They do a lot more of the maintenance of the property for you than a normal home. So that's 55 plus communities. Like I said, this is a good little home, and I would recommend it if you're looking for a home like that and you're looking in that area. This would definitely be a good buy for you guys to have a look at. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the tour. This is a really nice, clean home, and it'll make a great home for somebody. I hope you learned a little bit about 55 plus communities. If you do have a family member who's looking to live in Texas and they are 55 plus, there are lots of these communities around. They pretty much started 15, 20 years ago, at least in my experience. It became more prevalent when the baby boomers started retiring. Man, now we're starting to hit Gen X retiring. And you're going to see more and more of these communities. They're going to be more and more prevalent. And plus, baby boomers are still retiring. I mean, 1950s, if you were born in 1950, you're 75 years old right now. So a lot of baby boomers are hitting retirement age even still today. It is a great opportunity for somebody if this is what they're looking for. If you have any questions about real estate or anything in general, please reach out to me. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future episodes. And like I said, I hope you all enjoyed it. Until next week, y'all have a good one. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.